Good evening, I am Jeet Bhatt. Today we'll be discussing about regulation of kidney function. किडनी का फंक्शन किस प्रकार से रेगुलेट होता है उसके बारे में चर्चा करेंगे. So first of all we are talking about antidiuretic hormone, or it is also known as vasopressin. First of all we need to understand that ADH is secreted by hypothalamus. From hypothalamus it is transported through न्यूरोहाइपोफाइसिस, जिसको हम कहते हैं पोस्टीरियर पिट्यूटरी. सो हाइपोथैलेमस में सिंथेसिस हुआ, वहाँ से सिक्रीट हुआ, सिक्रीट होने के बाद वो गया पोस्टीरियर पिट्यूटरी में. आफ्टर रीचिंग न्यूरोहाइपोफाइसिस it is released in the blood stream whenever it is required. So when is ADH released in the blood flow? To understand that we need to imagine that if a person is dehydrated, means there is severe loss of water from the body and also electrolytes, and if the osmolarity of the blood rises beyond the threshold of 300 milliosmol liter inverse, so means per 1000 liters of blood, if the amount of solute increases from 300 to say 350 or 400, at that particular time the osmoreceptors will be activated and hypothalamus will do two things. One, it will release ADH and simultaneously it will also promote thirst, right? So what will ADH do after being released in blood? After it is released in blood, it will increase reabsorption of water from distal collecting tubule and collecting tubule, right? So ADH increases water reabsorption from DCT and CT. So this was the ADH. Similarly, if we talk about JG apparatus, what does it do? JG apparatus is present in the distal collecting tubule and afferent and efferent arterioles. We discussed it earlier when we were talking about the renal corpuscle. I explained you that what is JG cell. So whenever there is a decrease in systemic blood pressure, say for example blood pressure is decreasing, and that decrease in blood pressure is not good for the filtration process to happen effectively. So whenever systemic blood pressure decreases, ब्लड प्रेशर जब कम हो जाता है तब उसी समय GFR भी साथ में डिक्रीज हो जाएगा. ग्लोमेरुलस विल नॉट बी एबल टू फिल्टर ब्लड प्रॉपरली, राइट? सो एट दैट पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम JG cells will release renin. So at this particular point of time JG cells will release renin. This renin is important. Why? Because it will convert this angiotensinogen that is secreted by liver at the same time. Angiotensinogen is in active form, just like pepsinogen and trypsinogen. Angiotensinogen is inactive. So this angiotensinogen will be activated by renin and it will be formed angiotensin 1. Now we need to understand what angiotensin means. Let us break down the word. हम word के दो टुकड़े कर देते हैं. एक कहते हैं एंजियो, दूसरा कहते हैं टेंसिन. नाउ एंजियोस मीन्स ब्लड वेसल. एंजियोस मीन्स ब्लड वेसल. टेंशन, in other hand, if you talk in the language of physics, tension means to apply force or to apply pressure on something. So if you imagine angios as a blood vessel, as a hollow cylinder, you are applying pressure, tension from every angle. Its lumen, its diameter will reduce. And if the diameter will reduce, उसके अंदर जो प्रेशर है वो पहले जितना था वैसा हो जाएगा. सो जो प्रेशर कम हो गया था उस प्रेशर को वापस बढ़ा देगा कौन? एंजियोटेंसिन. पर उससे पहले एंजियोटेंसिन 1 also needs to be converted into angiotensin 2, and that function that is done by ACE, that is angiotensin converting enzyme, and that is secreted by lungs. So angiotensin number 1, it will re-establish the blood pressure, and simultaneously it will also promote the adrenal cortex to release aldosterone. Now aldosterone is one of the chief mineralocorticoids which helps in reabsorption of sodium from DCT and CT. So it is very important. This entire system is very important as far as filtration process is concerned, right? And last, it is not even possible that this RAAS, renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, keeps on working continuously. We need a kind of antagonistic system that can oppose this entire mechanism, and for that we have ANF, that is known as atrial natriuretic factor. So जब प्रेशर एक हद से ज़्यादा बढ़ जाता है, when pressure increases due to RAAS, what happens is wall of the atria of human heart releases a factor, peptide hormone known as ANF. It is a peptide hormone known as ANF, atrial natriuretic factor. This ANF will inhibit the release of renin from JG cells. And if renin is stopped, it is not released, angiotensinogen will not be activated, and RAAS will be stopped automatically, right? So this is antagonistic mechanism for RAAS. So if we want to summarize the entire topic, तो हम ऐसे कह सकते हैं कि ADH, RAAS and ANF collectively regulate kidney functions. Thank you very much.